Hello guys, this is the Polyglot Programmer, and today I'm going to talk about a very specific problem, which is to be able to draw a 3D point at runtime. And this can be very useful in a number of different situations, but for instance, when you're using a raycast. When you're using a raycast, you start from a point and you go to a specific point, a target point. And a lot of times when you're just working on a code, you don't know exactly where you're starting from, where you're going to coordinate it. Sometimes can be a bit confusing, even if you're an experienced developer. So a lot of times it can be very useful to be able to visually debug that. And other engines like Unity and Unreal, they have that built in out of the box. And unfortunately, I couldn't find anything like that for Godot, and so I decided to do it my own. And it's actually, I'm going to show you guys how I did it, and it's actually quite simple. It's not that complicated at all. So in here, I have a very simple project. I have my character over here. I already have the movement programmed into the character. I have my input maps here, my input actions here. I have an action for interact, which I'm going to use to do a raycast. And if you guys want to know how I took care of the movement, I do have another video which I talk about 3D character movement. I highly recommend you guys going in there and checking that out right after you watch this video, of course. And so let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's just play here, and you guys will see that I'm drawing a debug sphere on basically every point that the character is going is walking by. And if I press the interact button, you can see that I'm also drawing a debug sphere on where the raycast is ending in this case, right? And so now if we look at the player code, we don't need to look at the physics process, because this is where we take care of the movement. Like I said, I highly recommend going to my other video. In here, in the process, what I'm doing here is I'm calling my little add-on and my method here, and I'm passing the player position. I'm passing this parameter here, which this is a time, right? So duration, right? And I'm passing this guy here, which is the radius. The radius, which is already has a default value, so I didn't even need to pass this guy. And I'm passing a color, right? In this case, I'm passing a green color, and it already has a default color for red. And you guys can see this here in the documentation. The default is red. So all I need to do to use this tool is add this line. Actually, if I didn't have to change the color, I didn't even need to use these last two parameters, right? As you guys will see on the interact. And here I'm handling the interact. I have all this code here to handle the raycast. And right here on the bottom, I just have this, and here I'm drawing another debug sphere on the 2 position for the raycast, right? And in here I'm just, this is the duration of that, right? Because after this duration, the sphere gets destroyed, and that's all you need to do, right? And how can you add this to your project, right? So all you need to add this to your project is that when you download the code for this project, you're gonna get this little file over here, and all you need to do is you're gonna go to project, you're gonna go to project settings, right? You're gonna go to auto load, right? And then you're gonna add this guy over here, right? You just come in here, right? You find it in your project here, right? And I already have it over here, and it gives you a node name here, and you click add. Once you do that, this guy basically becomes he becomes something like a singleton. You can see that auto loads, they are not 100% singletons, but for this case, you can think of it as a singleton. And that's why in here I can just call this, right? So draw debug sphere, and then I can do whatever I want. And that's all, folks. That's all you need. And how does this guy works? This is like I said, it's a function that takes a location, takes a duration, which I already have a standard duration, right? It takes a radius, right? And it takes a color, which has a default red color, right? And in here, all I do is that I create a mesh instance 3D. I set the origin to the target location, which I have it over here, right? And then I create a sphere mesh, and I set the mesh for my mesh instance 3D to my sphere. You could get this as a parameter, but I feel like having a sphere is always useful, right? Especially if you can tweak the parameter, the radius. Here I'm just, again, creating a material, setting a very basic material, and setting the material as the material for the mesh instance. And here I'm just adding as a child to the world, right? To wherever I am. And at the bottom here, I have an await, which after the duration will basically destroy this object. And that's all. There's nothing else here. It's super simple. Feel free to use this. I really don't have an issue with you guys using this code. If you guys want to just download this tool and this project, this is available on my Patreon. If you can just go in there and buy me a coffee, and you can download everything. And also I would be very thankful for the support. But if you don't want to do that, that's all good. You can just stop the video right here and copy this code. I hope this can be as useful to you guys as it was for me, because this was a pain that I had in one of my projects. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips and videos. See you next time.